So today we are going to study about this oceanic currents, which is, we call it this part is the hardcore oceanography. Okay, so the part that we have covered up till yesterday, you might be study that part from meteorology perspective also. That is the same thing. Okay, but we have also studied some oceanic phenomena along with the atmospheric phenomena. But today, this is something solely related to the oceanography, oceanic currents. As we have seen yesterday in the another school, I have shown you different things, this air patterns and all these things. So you see that this currents. This is the scenario today. So I have provided the date for the today, which is 21 March 2024, and you see that the velocity, this color tone will show this velocity of the currents. Okay, so in Indian Ocean you can see, or just I will zoom it for you people. Okay, so these are the superficial actually. Okay, these are the superficial currents, and what they are showing you the wave height. So here you see that this they have shown this wave height, and different things can be represented. So you have, if I say this, these are the currents you see now. Okay, so in India also you see they are moving in a spiral way, and some are moving along the coast. You see, and here the currents are very highly intensified in these areas. Okay, near the Indonesia, and you can see on a worldwide level. Some are these equatorial currents that are flowing from east to west. You see that equatorial currents are there. So just I'm giving you an idea what we are going through today. So these things, that first is the current. Okay, so you see that what things are mentioned here. One is the waves, and one is the currents, and one is the tides actually. Okay, so these three things are different from each other. Okay, currents are something that are, you say, density, temperature, salinity driven. Yes, there is also a play of wind also. Okay, but the currents can be superficial and can be deep water. ठीक है ना, bottom water, deep water, the currents can be. ये नहीं मतलब है कि वो सरफेशियल ही होते हैं, आपके डीप वाटर भी होते हैं. ठीक है, आप पढ़ते हैं ना कि किस तरीके से वाटर, किस टाइप का वाटर मूवमेंट होता है. डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वाटर मूवमेंट टेक्स प्लेस इन द ओशंस. तो एक आपकी करंट्स हो गई, फिर आप कि टाइड्स हो गई. टाइड्स आपकी क्या होती है? ग्रेविटेशनल पुल की वजह से सेलेस्टियल बॉडीज. ओके, दीज आर द टाइड्स. तो यू हैव लो टाइड, यू हैव हाई टाइड, डायगोनल चेंजेस देखने को मिलते हैं, नीप टाइड होती है, स्प्रिंग टाइड होती हैं, ये सब भी पढ़ेंगे, टाइड्स भी हम पढ़ेंगे, नो प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है ना. फिर आपकी क्या होती हैं? वेव्स. ठीक है ना. वेव्स आपकी दे आर प्योरली विंड ड्रिवन वेव्स. तो वेव्स और विंड ड्रिवन भी होती हैं आपकी. एंड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट सुनामीज, दैट इज आल्सो काइंड ऑफ अ वेव, वेरी ह्यूज. The wavelength of the tsunamis are very huge, in hundreds of kilometers. Those are also waves. So the sea ash waves, rock waves, gravity waves, these are different type of waves of different skills, originated by different ways. But the main thing, you see, majority of the cases it is wind driven. In the case of tsunamis, it is something because of this tectonic disturbance. And tsunamis are deep water driven, though they actually come to the shallow water when they approach the coast, but they are deep water driven. Okay, so there's because of this displacement of the plate, and hence the displacement of the plate, what it will does, it will displace the water also that is present there. It will displace a small amount of water only, but still those plates are very huge. Those plates are very huge if we compare to the size of a human being. ठीक है ना. So that's why they will cause huge devastation. And the tsunami's velocity can range from 500, 600 kilometers. So if you put an alarming system, after that itself you don't have much time to react. Like in the case of Japan, I have told you, the subduction zone is very nearby to their east coast. Very nearby, 150, 200, max 200, yeah. 200 kilometers away from the coast. So if there's a tsunami, sorry, if there's an earthquake, okay, earthquake, a strong earthquake come, then they actually know if this earthquake came, then what is the source, where is going to where is the epicenter of the earthquake. They know it very well. Ultimately, it belongs to a subduction zone only that is going through just the east side of their country. They know it very well. Okay, so it is not like in the north, in the south, or towards the China side. It is towards the Pacific side. And when they know, they also know that there's an aftermath of earthquake, which is the tsunamis. Tsunamis, they are very well prepared. That's why there is a huge walls that are constructed in the eastern coast side. Huge walls are constructed. In 2012, in 2011, I think the tsunami came. Okay, with this 8.9 Richter scale, the 8.9 Richter scale earthquake. That may occur in nearby to this part. Okay, so you see that these are the currents, and just below that only this is the subduction zone. They don't have any relation with the subduction zone. Don't say that these currents are having some relation with the subduction zone. No, it is not like that. Okay, so here in these parts. So these walls are constructed over this eastern coast. These are very, very devastating, and they can also travel to very, very far away. Like if there is a tsunami that occur here, then obviously that will hit here in this coast. It will also hit in the western coast of America also, covering the whole Pacific Ocean. Covering the whole Pacific Ocean, it will collide with these mainland. The intensity would be decreased, but still they have that wavelength and the amplitude that can cause a little bit incursion in the mainland, because they are still very greater than the usual high tides. Okay, what will happen? The low-lying areas, they will get submerged. The people who are living, so they don't know whether what will be going to be the intensity of this. But still, now the people are familiar with what devastation can a tsunami cause. Okay, so still, if tsunami originated here, just here, adjacent to the Japan island, move from here to here, of this much distance. Okay, so it is around I would say, I don't know exactly, but maybe around 4,000, 5,000 kilometers, this much. So it will take 20 hours, maybe probably 15 to 20 hours to reach here. So in that case, they can prepare themselves for this. People in Indian coast, you can see the simulation. There are simulations that are present. So when there was a tsunami of 9 approximately in this part, the subduction zone here. So it hit the Andaman is on a very high risk, and these Thailand, Laos, these are on a very high risk. Andaman Island का तो बहुत high risk था. Even though Sri Lanka, your this eastern coast and your this Sundarbans, all these portions, and tsunami also affected this western coast also, but not because this particular coast is directly facing to this subduction zone, and if the tsunami went after just traveling like like this way, so they get intensified. or they will move like this. They will move like this. Some of its what do you say? Some of the water will also move in this direction. So this is not the main branch. This is the secondary branch. That is not carrying much water. This is usually the waves are moving in a very straight direction. So it will hit in these parts, and it also actually hit this part of the Africa, and this part, the southern part of the Gulf countries. Okay, Saudi Arabia, all these things. So this is the intensity. So these currents are actually very different. See, this is a very prominent Gulf Stream actually that develops around the eastern coast of USA. Okay, see the very prominent branch of the Gulf Stream. They are like rivers only. It seems that they are rivers within the oceans. It seems like there's a meandering that is going on here like this, and they are ultimately just sinking here. There's a sinking that is taking place. Okay, so today we are just going to see what it is. Okay, so this ocean currents. So ocean currents, as you know, these are the masses of oceans that flow from one place to another. तो क्या है आपके oceans के masses हैं. The current transfer heat from warmer to the cooler areas of the earth, as well as vice versa. जैसे आपकी wind करती है, can you see the slides ना, each and everything ना. So जैसे आपकी wind करती है, what it carries? It carries energy, heat energy. There is an energy transfer that is taking place every time. Okay, so warmer to cooler. Similarly, it can be vice versa also, from cooler to warmer. Okay, na? Similar to that of a air. So because it is a fluid only. Okay. So cold currents, these are two types of current. One is the cold currents. Okay, na? One is the cold currents and one is the warm currents. So what does cold currents do? They carry, whether they carry warm, obviously they carry cold from the poles to the equator. Okay, now they carry water from the poles towards the equator, while the warm currents carry water from the equator towards the poles. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, किस तरफ ट्रेवल करता है, towards the equator, and it travels towards the poles. This is a very important thing. And one thing that also remember, you can also remember, is that they usually flow along the western side of continents. याद रखिएगा, ये बच्चे कभी कभी कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि कभी कभी आपका वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ द कॉन्टिनेंट्स की जगह ईस्टर्न साइड, वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ ओशंस लिख किया जाता है. तो याद रखना है, अगर इसके लिए यहां पर हम क्या लिख सकते हैं, इट कैन बी वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट्स और ईस्टर्न साइड ऑफ ओशन बेसिन्स. ठीक है ना. एंड दिस कैन बी द ईस्टर्न साइड ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट्स और western side of ocean basin. So if you see in this diagram, not diagram, this model, okay, so you see that this is the USA and Mexico and this Canada, and you see that this is the Gulf Stream, very prominent current. So this is the eastern boundary of the continent, while this is the western boundary for the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so remember this statement. तभी मैं ज्यादा चीज लिखता नहीं हूँ, कि ज्यादा चीज लिखने से क्या हो जाता है ना, कि कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट होता है कि वेस्टर्न था ईस्टर्न था. बस आप याद रखो वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंट्स, तो इसका रेसिप्रोकल हो जाएगा ईस्टर्न साइड ऑफ ओशन बेसिन्स. ठीक है ना. तो ये चीज ध्यान, और क्योंकि जैसे लास्टली भी मैंने आपको साइक्लोन्स के बारे में बताया, बस कुछ कुछ चीजें याद रखिएगा. साइक्लोन्स के कैसे कंफ्यूज नहीं, जितना कम याद रखोगे ना, उसका रेसिप्रोकल उल्टा कर देना. ओके, सो दे प्रोड्यूस एरिड कंडीशंस. किस टाइप की कंडीशंस क्रिएट करते हैं आपके ये, दे प्रोड्यूस एरिड कंडीशंस, व्हाइल दे प्रोड्यूस वार्म ह्यूमिड कंडीशंस. तो आपको अब पता चल गया कि why if you look, if I show you the map of the world, for example. Okay, so better to use this map only. Okay, zooming out. So you can see that just see the which are the greener areas and which are the areas that contains the rainforest. So I will just go to the satellite image. Okay, already present. Okay, so see that first see these parts. Now these parts. Okay, and just see these parts. This particular part. Okay, see this part of Australia. Okay, so why these western boundaries? Because of this currents only. Some are carrying moisture, some are not carrying moisture, and because of this, in some localities, arid conditions prevail. In some localities, humid conditions prevail. Okay, so if you are living on the western boundary of a continent, that it is more arid compared to the eastern boundary of the continents, or reciprocal for the case of the oceans. Okay, because obviously when there is some current and when it is moving from the equator to the pole, so it carries a lot of moisture. Okay, so this is the reason why it is so, and you can see the distributions also. Okay, and you can see the distribution. I will talk about the different types of there is also a latitude, this presence of this what do you call it, mountain belt. Because of this, it is also showing some arid regions, because some of the part of this mountain belt is above the what you call it, above the elevation where no trees can survive. Okay, this Andes, especially this Andes part, very well. So but in USA, the elevation is not much higher. The elevation is not much higher. So this part of the California state and whole this part, even this, a little bit of this, and see these areas more greener. The Gulf Stream is going like this. I've shown you the Gulf Stream is going like this. Okay, and you can see some arid regions present within the mainland of the USA, within the mainland of the southern part of Canada. That is another reason. It is because of this rain shadow zone, because of this Rocky Mountains that are there. There's a two mountain belt that is going from here, from north to south. One is the Cascadian and one is this Rockies. Rockies are more of a inner side of the continents, and Cascadian is here. And in between, though, you have this basin and a range province that we talk about. Some of the part you will study in tectonics, and some of the part you will study in climatology. So I'm just giving you just know about the basics of the atmospheric circulation. So you know each, so this climatic belt, atmospheric belts, all this thing you know. And this is the basis of this climatology. And we have also seen that you see that this is the equator. The equator is going from here, for example. Okay, so it usually coincides with this Amazon rainforest and this Congo rainforest. You have this Dominican Republic of Congo, DRC. Okay, and Democratic Republic of Congo, and you have this Amazon rainforest in Brazil, and you have in Colombia, Venezuela, in Peru, Bolivia. This is the extent. And also you see the rainforest in Borneo, Indonesia. These are also the rainforest. So all these countries are passing through this equator. So equator represents the intertropical convergence zone. So there are a lot of rainfall that you will see in these locations. While you will see this is the Sahara, and here also, even for Australia and for these locations, I'm giving other reasons also. It is not because of this only. Other reasons also there. Even these locations, Afghanistan, Iran, all these locations, they lie in the subtropical climate. Okay, so this is where the evaporation exceeds the precipitation. So they lie in the subtropical climates. That's why you see a lot of deserts localized in those particular latitudinal ranges. Central Asia, you see that here this color is slightly more of a reddish tone, while this is more of a buff colored. The reason in the Central Asia is that because you see there's a large area, a huge area, means see this extent. It is like 3 times the size of the country, India. The extent. I'm just ignoring this part. Just ignore this Gulf part. And Iran you can include. This is the Iraq. This is the Iran, and this is the Afghanistan, and this is the Pakistan and Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. All are here. Here, this is Kazakhstan is little bit upward, and you have Mongolia here. And so you see that the size of this arid region is very huge. The reason is that moisture couldn't be able to reach these locations from the oceans. These are so much interior side that moisture couldn't be able to reach very far away. Okay. So they are more. Whenever you go more of interior side, so the clouds that carry the moisture couldn't be able to reach those locations. Ultimately, what is the source? A river can be not be a source. Lake cannot be a source. Always the oceans are the source. Over the oceans you see the cloud formation, because ultimately moisture कहाँ से आएगा, पानी का अमाउंट कहाँ पड़ जाता है, ओशंस. तो आपका जितना भी होता है आपका इधर ही बनता है. But still you see India, and a lot of part of the India would lie in this tropical zone, this at least this northern part.
Sir, or we call in the Asia region because of the high pressure zone.
Yeah,
high pressure surface zone.
High glacier is also there, but not every locality. Like this basin, I forgot the name of this basin actually.
I think.
यहाँ पे लिखा होना चाहिए वैसे. Political map type का है ना. I just forgot the name of this basin. This basin is not that much high. You see that a lot of molasse sediments are being accumulated from the nearby highlands, and it is around 1000 maximum, 1200 meters. Let's say 1200 meters nothing here. 900 meters is Bangalore. Okay. So this is around this much, but see, no vegetation here. Still you are getting a lot of nutrients and a lot of sediments, like they are nutrients only for this vegetation, but still no vegetation. Still no vegetation, because first of all you need a source, water, and a majority of the rivers, rather than taking this path, they are taking this path. Like in this, Brahmaputra is taking this path, and Brahmaputra is taking this path, and Gangotri, Yamunotri, all these are taking this path, originating in the Tibet region or in the higher Himalayas region, and rather than going towards that, they are moving on this side wherever they find the source. That's why there's a lot of dispute here in the Arunachal area. Attention is going on between China and India and here, this Arunachal area. Why it is going on? Because they want this particular locality. They want this particular locality on the Arunachal Pradesh. Because you see that in India there's a crisis. Sorry, not crisis. This they made a dam on the Ravi River. We call it. Some experts call it water terrorism. Okay, water terrorism. So if we can just stop the supply of the water that is going towards Pakistan anytime. The Sinai is also thinking in that way. Spango, we call it Spango, and Brahmaputra here. So Spango we usually call, this is the same name. So when it moves from here to here, this is not the high rainfall region. The main supply is from the Mansarovar Lake. Okay? The main supply is from the Mansarovar, and just by some melting of the glaciers. But where is the main water? coming, main water is coming in these areas. In these areas. So they want these areas because these are the areas where you see a lot of precipitation. A lot of precipitation is observed in these areas, and because precipitation doesn't take place here, these are very high mountains here. Clouds can't reach to that elevation. I'm not clouds, that water laden clouds. Clouds can reach, cirrus clouds can reach up to 12 kilometers. And these mountain ranges around max to max 5,000 max. And some peaks can go beyond 6 plus 6.5 plus in these areas. But wherever they receive rainfall, there is rainfall here in these locations. This is the main rainfall region, not this. This is not the main rainfall. So if they build a dam, ultimately no problem. We are still having a very good rainfall here. है ना, अपना डैम बना लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप इधर डैम बना लीजिए, इस जगह पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली जो सप्लाई आ रहा है वो तो रेनफॉल की वजह से इन लोकेलिटीज में आ रहा है, इसी वजह से यही रीजन को अगर कैप्चर कर लेंगे तो जितना आगे हो सकता है उतना आगे तक हम कैप्चर कर लेंगे, ठीक है, और अपनी तरफ से उस सप्लाई के पानी को यूज करेंगे डाइवर्ट करके. लेकिन स्टिल इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट ज्योग्राफिकल टेरेन, very difficult. Constructing a dam here is very, but China can do anything here. China can do anything. They're building so much amazing projects in these difficult terrains that people can't think of. Okay, so this is in Ravi they have created, I think, somewhere here. I don't know the exact position, but somewhere here. Now, this is a dispute that is going on. Just talking about some things, how the geopolitics is very much controlled by the geography of the area. How the geography is playing a major role. The climatic belts are playing a major role. Because ultimately what people want. People want resources, water resources, natural resources like coal, petroleum, and mineral resources. आपको क्या चाहिए? तो खाने पीने के लिए मिल जाए पानी, है ना, आपकी ट्रेड के लिए अच्छी खासी लैंड मिल जाए, आपकी एनर्जी सप्लाई मिल जाए. एनर्जी कैन बी एनीथिंग. आपकी यूरेनियम के अच्छे रिजर्व हो, आपके पास वो एरियाज हो जहां पर आप विंड मिल एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हो, वो एरियाज हो जहां पर आप हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक पावर प्लांट एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हो. अंडरस्टूड? और आपके मिनरल रिसोर्सेज अच्छे खासे हों. तो इंडिया की ज्योग्राफी इज वेरी गुड एक्चुअली. ज्योग्राफी और कंट्री इज वेरी वेरी गुड compared. Just see, we are on the same latitude, and I'm sitting in Hyderabad somewhere here, and it is just corresponding to southern part of Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Oman. Just see what is little bit far away, not little bit, it is very far away. So just see the thickness. Just see Mumbai is here, and here we call it somewhere here we have this Bhubaneswar. This breadth, take it here. So Mumbai, keep it Mumbai here, and Bhubaneswar would be somewhere here. And little bit 203 kilometers. Just take it 203 kilometers, 100 kilometers more. So the distance between Bhubaneswar and Mumbai plus 300 kilometers, you reach Oman. Okay, no? But still barren. Though they have very good oil reserves. Not every Gulf country have very good oil reserves. You have in this UAE, have it in Saudi, mainly Saudi, this part of the Saudi, which is there. Where is Dharan? Southern part में होगा Dharan. It is the main oil producing zone in the world. Where this Saudi Aramco is working. In the southern part, I couldn't be able to locate it where it is Dharan. So maybe in this part. For example, they have those limestone reservoir rocks here. But see India, see these areas, they contain, because the moisture is coming rather than going like this, because of the Coriolis force they are coming like this. And this is the main moisture capturing zone. And intense heating, where is the intense heating, intense evaporation, there only this moisture is being collected. So you have this moisture collected here, and the moisture is coming from here to here. Understood? Moisture is coming from here to here. Okay, so that's why you face a lot of greener environment in the western Ghats and in the central part, also in southern part, also as well as in these locations also. But similar. Here you have just see Mexico, this same latitude up to Mexico. Okay, these areas are like a little bit. You see in the coastal areas, maybe there will be some rainfall here also, but majority of the part is bad. That's why India has the though country. If we look at the area wise, then our country ranks 7th. If you look at the what is the total amount of arable land is the land where you can go for cultivation. Okay, we lie on second position. We lie on second position after USA. China doesn't have that actually, or they are not using that. Okay, because majority of the part of the China, just see China, this much part, this much part, okay, this much part. Beijing, you can take, okay, up to this Beijing. Beijing is very north here, near the hills. Beijing is very near this hills. Right, so you have this much. Here they have this mountain belts along with the total part. See, the majority of the part is being covered with mountain belts only. No people live here. You know, deserted area. This is a total deserted area. While the population lives in these localities, here in the coast, this prosperous coast, where you have very big cities used for the trade purpose. Shanghai is there, Wuhan is there, and Hangzhou, Guangzhou. These are the major cities. Even Hong Kong, which is not the territory of China, it was also there. So this part is more, you say, arable compared to this. Okay, so which is equivalent to the area of India only, if we look. Yeah. So that's why. So it's if you look Russia, though of its because of its very huge size, the majority of the part is they have glaciers, they have permafrost regions. So they go for cultivation. In Canada, same problem applies for the Canada. इतना बड़ा तभी तो इनके लिए डिस्प्यूट नहीं होगा, कोई डिस्प्यूट नहीं होगा, वरना कंट्रियां बढ़ जाती छोटे छोटे पार्ट। अगर उनका एरिया थोड़ा सा भी काम का होगा ना, वो बढ़ जाएंगी। क्या करेंगे हम कनाडा का लेके भाई, कौन रहेगा इतनी ठंड में? लोग ये सोचते हैं, है ना, क्या हमें बेनिफिट मिल रहा है उससे? सॉरी, क्या हमें बेनिफिट मिल रहा है उस डेटा को कैप्चर करने का? सो मच यूज बट नॉट ऑफ मच यूज। Okay, Europe is good though. Europe is very good. The Central Europe is very good. The Western Europe is very good for the living. The areas in the Mediterranean region very good. A lot of people want to live in these localities in the western, in the northern part of the Mediterranean Sea, Southern Europe part. And your Italy or just France, and you have the Greece here. Though it is lying, these areas are also very lying to the subduction zones. Okay, but they're very prosperous areas to live. Good for vacations, very good climate here. This is the, just see this Australia on the other side. This part, just see the Australia. Just see Australia is also. See, the majority of the part is like deserts in the central part. So the desert is a desertified. It's reddish colored sands everywhere. You see this reddish imprints. Okay. And what are there? You have some greener areas here. You have some greener areas here up to this belt. Up to this belt and this many also. And this is the subduction zone that is going and there's a polarity reverse subduction reversal. So the subduction zone is like this, and now it became like this, and you have a transform fault here, very famous transform fault here that joins these two subduction zones. So see this, this part of the continent is more drier compared to this part. And people, I won't think that around less than 10% of the population live in the interior. Interior is mainly what is interior? Interior is mining only. Mining is taking place. The main sector is the mining only in the interior part. It's so much desertified. Australia just have the population of about 3 or 4 crore, man. It is just equivalent to that of the NCR region. NCR is reaching 4 crore. And the same population is living on so much, like it is bigger in size compared to India, and in this much area, see the population density. Okay, the main cities are Adelaide and Brisbane and Melbourne, Perth, Sydney. All these 4, 5, Canberra, all the 4, 5 cities are the major ones. That is especially on the especially south facing or east facing. Southeast facing these cities. Perth is exception here. Okay, where majority of the population lives. Majority of the population, because the climates are more colder in these localities. Okay, we are in a subtropical zone because. Okay, and we have this Antarctica, huge ice cover. Huge ice cover. Okay, you can see a better image in the Google Earth. Okay, and just explore Google Earth each and every time. Explore it. You'll find a lot of good things. I personally have a hobby of exploring these things. It's just an idea about what is happening in every place. Okay, so ये मैं बता रहा था, भूल गया मैं क्या क्या बता रहा था मैं. So you have this ocean currents. Okay, so मैंने बताया था ocean currents are wind driven and density driven. ठीक है ना? तो आपका क्या है? जो भारी होगा water it will sink, जो light होगा it will rise, it will upwells. That we actually talk about in the tomorrow class when we talk about this upwelling. So winds जो होती हैं आपकी, winds में जो currents होते हैं that usually affects the surfacial, ठीक है ना, surface currents को ही आपका affect करते हैं. वहीं आपकी जो density driven circulation होता है ये deep water में होता है. जैसे हमने अंटार्कटिक, अटलांटिक बॉटम एंड डीप वाटर्स के बारे में पढ़ा था, वही मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है ना? तो सम वाटर क्या होते हैं? हायर डेंसिटी, ठीक है ना, एंड हाई सैलिनिटी, सो दे सिंक. ठीक है ना? जब आपका हाई डेंसिटी होगी, हाई सैलिनिटी होगी, ठीक है ना, एज वेल एज लो टेम्परेचर भी होगा, तो क्या होगा? दे यूजुअली सिंक. वहीं आपका क्या होगा? जो आपकी लो डेंसिटी होगी, हाई टेम्परेचर होगा, लो सैलिनिटी होगी, दैट विल अपवेल द लोकेशंस. ठीक है? सो दिस डेंस वाटर सिंक्स एंड स्प्रेड स्लोली. तो ये क्या करते हैं? जैसे सिंक करते हैं, ये हाई लैटिट्यूड में क्या करते हैं? सिंक करते हैं. ओके, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द सिंकिंग दे ट्रेवल नॉट ऑन द सरफेस बट in the deeper parts and spread slowly beneath the surface. So these are called deep currents. ये आप ध्यान रखेंगे. डीप करंट से बेटर है बॉटम करंट्स बोला जाता है इनको. ठीक है, बॉटम करंट, डीप करंट, कभी कभी दोनों नाम बोले जाते हैं. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट पहले पढ़ते हैं हम लोग सरफेशियल करंट्स के बारे में. ठीक है, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. अभी आप जो देख रहे थे इमेजेस में, दोज आर द सरफेशियल करंट्स. ठीक है, तो ये करंट्स कब कहां पर होते हैं? अबव द पिकनिक लाइन. तो यूजुअली यू से दैट above 300-400 meters of area oceans. किसकी वजह से डेवलप होते हैं? दिस आर डेवलपमेंट बिटवीन द फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन द ओशन एंड द विंड. मैंने बताया था, बिकॉज आपकी विंड कैसे करेगी? विंड आएगी और आपके पानी को धकेलेगी. और विंड्स कौन सी होती है? व्हाट आर द विंड्स दैट आर कंट्रोलिंग? अल्टीमेटली दीज आर द ईस्टर्लीज एंड द वेस्टर्लीज दैट वी ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड अबाउट। अब मैं अगर डायरेक्टली इस पे आता, आपको समझ में नहीं आता, कहीं मुझे ईस्टर्ली वेस्टर्ली बतानी पड़ेगी, ठीक है ना। एज वेल एज आपका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द ओशन एंड कॉन्टिनेंट, जो मैंने थोड़ा सा आइडिया दिया आपको, भी आपके रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, ठीक है ना, इन सब चीजों के उनके पाथ को डिसाइड करने में। अब आप देखेंगे वो वाला करंट, तो वो मोस्टली आपका क्या है, कोस्ट को फॉलो कर रहा है, ठीक है, कोस्ट को फॉलो कर रहा है। और हीटिंग की वजह से भी होता है, तो हीटिंग और ये सब कूलिंग, ये भी आपकी डिपेंड क्या करती है, कितना परसेंट ऑफ द एरिया इज बीइंग कवर्ड बाय द ओशन एज वेल एज लैंड। अदर फैक्टर कौन कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं, ये तो इंपॉर्टेंट है ही है, सरफेस विंड्स तो इंपॉर्टेंट है ही, साथ ही साथ आपको ग्रेविटी, फ्रिक्शन एंड कोरियोलिस इफेक्ट आल्सो प्लेज अ मेजर रोल, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ये आप याद ध्यान रखेंगे, ठीक है ना। ग्रेविटी, फ्रिक्शन एंड द कोर, तो किस पे आपको सरफेशियल करंट डिपेंड होता है, आपसे पूछ ले सकता है, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए, ये चीज का आइडिया आपको होना चाहिए कि ग्रेविटी, फ्रिक्शन एंड द कोरियोलिस इफेक्ट पे आपके डिपेंड करते हैं। सो ईस्टर्लीज आपको कहां से आती हैं, दे कम फ्रॉम द ईस्ट, वेस्टर्लीज दे कम फ्रॉम द वेस्ट। तो इसमें तो आपको नहीं समझ में आएगा, है ना, because that information is not very well shown here. This green well, this green colored arrows and this blue colored arrows, so these represent the westerlies, these represent this easterlies, ठीक है ना। तो ईस्टर्लीज आपके थोड़े लो लैटिट्यूड्स में होती है, या आपके हाई लैटिट्यूड्स का, रिलेटिवली नॉट हाई, रिलेटिवली मोर हाई लैटिट्यूड्स में होती है। सो यू सी दिस डायग्राम, that's why this diagram is there. Easterlies, or you also call it the trade wind, same thing, westerlies. So they actually generate a vortex, a spiral, a movement of water in a loop. And अब ये इधर से जा रहा है, पेन का यूज ही नहीं किया मैंने, okay, so it is also, so they will create a vortex like this, and it is not created in the coastal areas, they are not created in the coastal areas, they are usually created in the middle of the ocean, and in both the hemisphere they create this type of vortex, ठीक है। दोनों का कंबाइंड इफेक्ट होता है, दोनों ही डायरेक्शन जो विंड आ रही है उसका कंबाइंड इफेक्ट है। तो आप देख सकते हैं एक अटलांटिक, नॉर्थ अटलांटिक में है, एक आपका ये साउथ अटलांटिक पे है, तो इनको बोला जाता है हम गाइड्स, ठीक है, इनको क्या बोला जाता है, स्पेशल टर्म है, ये भी करेंसी एक तरीके से आपके, तो ये आपके क्या बोले जाते हैं, गाइड्स। तो ओशनिक गाइड्स तो क्या है, दीज आर लार्ज सर्कुलेटिंग लूप्स ऑफ वाटर, large circulating loops of water in the middle of the ocean, especially present in the subtropical latitudes. आप देखेंगे अगर इनकी locations, okay, where they are lying in the subtropical latitudes, okay, and so they are known as the subtropical guides. तो नहीं, सब पोलर भी होती, एक टाइप की सब पोलर भी होती, बट जस्ट इग्नोर दैट फॉर नाउ, मेनली आपके क्या है, सब। सो दे आर रिस्ट्रिक्टेड बिकॉज इफ यू सी द सेंटर ऑफ दीज गाइड्स, दे मेनली लाई इन दैट 30 to 60 डिग्री लैटिट्यूड, they mainly lie in that 30 to 60 degree latitude, okay. Then you have this rotation, if you see how they are rotating in a clockwise manner in the northern hemisphere and in an anti-clockwise manner in the southern hemisphere. तो इनका रोटेशन दोनों का क्या है, डिफरेंट है, क्लॉकवाइज मैनर में नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर में, और काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज और एंटी क्लॉकवाइज दो टर्म यूज कर सकते हैं हम लोग इन द सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर, ठीक है ना। बिकॉज यहां से जो विंड्स अप्रोच कर रही हैं दैट आर रिवर्स, आप देखिए ट्रेड विंड्स इधर से अप्रोच कर रही हैं, वेस्टर्लीज आपकी इधर से अप्रोच कर रही है, तो हर एक चीज आपकी क्या है, एटमॉस्फेयर, देखिए आप कितना हद तक आपका ये एटमॉस्फेयर आपका कंट्रोल कर रहा है इस चीज, यही मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा था, ठीक है ना। दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। अब इसके बाद क्या है, तो मैं यहाँ लिख देता, यहाँ पर मेंशन है आपका, दे रोटेट क्लॉकवाइज इन अनदर हेमिस्फीयर एंड काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज इन द सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर। कुछ कुछ छोटी छोटी चीजें आप ध्यान रखेंगे हमेशा इसको। फिर इसके बाद हम पढ़ते हैं कितने टाइप ऑफ गाइड्स होती हैं, ठीक है ना, कितने टाइप ऑफ गाइड्स हैं। स्पेशली मैं बात कर रहा हूं अभी सब ट्रॉपिकल गाइड्स की। कितने टाइप हैं? दीज आर 5 टाइप्स, ठीक है। 5 सब गाइड्स आपकी ऑब्जर्व की गई हैं ट्रॉपिकल सब ट्रॉपिकल लैटिट्यूड्स में, ठीक है, जिनका नाम आपका मेंशन है। वन इज द नॉर्थ अटलांटिक सब ट्रॉपिकल गाइड, ठीक है, तो ये नॉर्थ अटलांटिक में होती है। वन इज द साउथ अटलांटिक, अभी हम लोग ने देखा, ये दोनों हम लोग ने देखी। वन इज द नॉर्थ पैसिफिक सब ट्रॉपिकल गायर, ठीक है ना, एंड वन इज द साउथ पैसिफिक सब ट्रॉपिकल गायर, एंड फाइनली यू हैव द इंडियन ओशन सब ट्रॉपिकल गायर, ठीक है। और इनके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट नेम्स दिए गए हैं। इनके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट नेम्स एज यू कैन सी, दिस इज नोन एज द कोलंबस गायर, दिस इज नोन एज द नेविगेटर गायर, टर्टल गायर, हायरदल गायर एंड माजिद गायर, ठीक है। आपके वॉयजर्स के बेसिस पे, आपके वॉयजर्स के नाम के ऊपर रखे गए हैं ये, ठीक है। ओके, तो आपने ये दोनों देखी अभी, ये दोनों, ठीक है ना। ये तीनों भी, ये दोनों भी आपके क्या बनते हैं? सेम आपके जैसे अटलांटिक में फॉर्म होते हैं वैसे ही आपके पैसिफिक में फॉर्म होते हैं, है ना। इंडियन ओशन वाला भी बनता है, लेकिन एक ही बनता है क्योंकि इंडियन ओशन आपका सदर्न लैटिट्यूड में ही है, सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में ही ज्यादा है। नदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में तो इंडिया है उस जगह पे, तो अगर इंडियन ओशन हो सकता है नदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में भी होता तो वहां भी आपकी जनरेट होती। तो ये आपकी क्या है, ये भी आपका जो मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पार्ट जो है इस गायर का, वो आपका सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में ही है। नदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में थोड़ा सा हो सकता है, थोड़ा सा पार्ट आ जाए, लेकिन मेजोरिटी आपका सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में है, ठीक है। तो ये आप याद रखेंगे, इनके ये भी आप याद रखिए किस वॉयजर के बेसिस पे नाम है इसके, ठीक है। तो मैं आपको दिखा देता हूं एक इमेज, ये आप देख सकते हैं। ओके, so you see, I will take this list. So this is the subtropical gyres you see, है ना, कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? यहाँ 1 2 3 4 5 आपकी सब पोलर गाइड्स भी मेंशन्ड है यहाँ पर, जिसको हम बात करेंगे अभी। तो ये सब पोलर गाइड्स एक इधर है और एक इधर है। मेजोरिटी जो आपकी जो बड़ी जो आपकी जो स्ट्रॉन्ग एक है वो इधर आपकी बनती है, ये आपकी ग्रीनलैंड और आपके आइसलैंड के पास। इसको वाइकिंग गायर बोला जाता है, ठीक है। तो और क्या क्या चीजें आप देख सकते हैं इसमें, और क्या क्या चीजें देख सकते हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस गायर्स? यू हैव डिफरेंट डिफरेंट करंट नेम्स, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट करंट। तो सब आपके करंट जो है आपके, दे आर शोन बाय सम रेड कलर्ड एंड सब करंट्स आर शोन बाय ब्लू कलर। तो आप ध्यान देंगे, अगर सम इक्वेटोरियल करंट्स सी, ठीक है ना। अभी हम लोग ने जो देखा इमेज में, अभी जो मॉडल बनाया हुआ था तो मैं दिखाया था ऐसे वाटर फ्लो कर रहा है, वो क्या है? इक्वेटोरियल करंट है, ठीक है। यू हैव सम अंटार्कटिक सर्कमपोलर करंट दैट यूजुअली फॉलो दिस, इधर से फ्लो करता है आपका ये, ठीक है। तो इसकी वजह से सब सेपरेट, सब आपके कॉन्टिनेंट सेपरेटेड है, ठीक है। तो आपके कुछ रेड कलर्ड वाले आप अगर डायरेक्शन देखेंगे, दे आर फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम इक्वेटोरियल रीजन्स अप टू दिस पोलर रीजन्स, एंड दिस कैनरी वन, फॉर एग्जांपल कैनरी और अदर एग्जांपल्स आर आल्सो सिंस दे आर फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम पोलर टू इक्वेटोरियल। तो आपके जितने भी रेड वाले हैं वो आपके इक्वेटर से पोल की तरफ है, और जो आपके ब्लू वाले हैं वो पोल से इक्वेटर की तरफ है। एंड बिटवीन देम देयर इज द एक्सिस्टेंस ऑफ दीस गायर्स इन द मिडल ऑफ द ओशंस। In the middle of the oceans you see some gyres that are there, okay। तो इसको ही बोला जाता है आपका थर्मोहलाइन सर्कुलेशन, भी यही है आपका। और आपके जितने भी करंट है, करंट से हर साल हर बार क्वेश्चन आता है, मैं आपको बता दे रहा हूँ, इनको आप ध्यान रखिएगा, मैं बता दें, याद रख लीजिएगा इनको, ठीक है। तो करंट्स के बारे में हम लोग थोड़ा सा आइडिया लेंगे। ये टुडे यू गॉट एन बेसिक आइडिया, मैं कुछ और चीजें बताने लग गया था तो उसमें टाइम चला गया हम लोग का, ठीक है। तो कल हम लोग इसके आगे प्रोसीड करेंगे। हम लोग कल इन करंट्स के बारे में एज वेल एज आपके सब पोलर गायर्स और डीप करंट्स के बारे में थोड़ा सा आइडिया लेंगे। सो योर Ekman ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड Ekman spiral, all these things we will talk about tomorrow, okay। So study about these things ठीक है, थोड़ा सा आप यूट्यूब पे कोई वीडियो देखिएगा, इससे आपको एक बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप हो। ओके, क्योंकि ये सब चीजें इमेजिनेशन में खेल है, आप किस तरीके से चीजों को इमेजिन कर रहे हैं। ओके, तो कोई नहीं, हम लोग का थोड़ा सा ही पार्ट रह गया है। ठीक है, तो ये भी if I it possible if I can complete it by tomorrow, and then we will start with some tides, ocean productivity, biological productivity, and your paleoceanography, so all these things। ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजों पे आप ध्यान दीजिए, और कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो आप यू कैन आस्क मी टुमारो अबाउट दिस थिंग्स, एंड इन द मीन टाइम यू कैन ऑल्सो use this model I'm